Dr. Dean, we're at the Health Freedom Expo, and let's start with your book, Death by Modern Medicine. Just how big of a problem is quote unquote correctly prescribed medications?
Well, the stats are actually growing year by year. When I first did the research for the book, that was 2003. It started as a paper, Death by Medicine, and it's available all over the internet. So from there, I went on to write the book and collect more statistics. And what I found is with government databases and peer-reviewed journals, I tabulated about 750,000 people dying annually, inadvertently, inappropriately, with no reason for these deaths except that they'd been involved with the healthcare system. And what's interesting is just this past week, and we're here in March 2012, we've had a story come out about a Scripps Institute research study showing that 500,000 people died in 2010 from the use of sleeping pills alone. So what does that mean for my statistics? For adverse drug reactions, I got 300,000 people, inpatient and outpatient. And now we're talking about 500,000, 500,000 people just from sleeping pills alone. So I obviously didn't have all the statistics, and the problem is even worse than we ever imagined. And what's astounding is, besides Death by Modern Medicine, I've written many other books, one of which is The Magnesium Miracle. And what we know about magnesium is if you take it for stress or for panic or anxiety or sleeplessness, it cures that problem. So why don't we know about the choice to take magnesium instead of sleeping pills that are killing people?
And another question on top of that is, why don't people get upset when those numbers come out, when those huge numbers of hundreds of thousands of people, when we have people dying in wars at numbers that aren't even close to that, and that gets people enraged?
I really don't know. I think people are afraid of the medical system. They're afraid to challenge their doctors because, well, you know, I've heard it over and over again from my clients. I just do telephone consulting now, and they'll tell me, well, I'm afraid to tell my doctor I'm talking to you. I'm afraid to tell them I'm taking supplements. And the reason? Because they don't want to be either kicked out of the practice, which happens, or mistreated even more. Because, you know, once you tell your health professional, well, I don't trust you, I mean, you've lost it. So people, I think, are scared, which is, I mean, that is really almost immoral, criminal to think that you can't even tell your healthcare professional, well, you know, I'm taking these 5 drugs for my high blood pressure. It isn't working. You know, don't you think I should use some magnesium? And what's even more astounding is when you look at the research. I know one team of researchers in magnesium who've done 1,000 studies, and they're just despondent because they can't get the word out. So you look at what magnesium does, and just a scenario of someone under high stress, they go to their doctor, their blood pressure's high. Instead of doing a 24-hour monitor or, you know, making them come back several times to check it, oh, well, you've got high blood pressure. Yeah, you know, you're that age. Okay, we'll give you a diuretic. A diuretic drains out magnesium. They come back, then 2 weeks later, their blood pressure's worse. Oh my gosh, we caught you just in time. Now, I mean, to say in the beginning of this that stress is what causes the blood pressure to rise in the first place, because stress will tighten up your blood vessels and lead to the blood pressure. So the first treatment should have been magnesium. Instead, it's a magnesium wasting diuretic. Then you're put on an ACE inhibitor or, you know, some other regimen of high blood pressure pills, and lo and behold, 3 months later, when you come back for the blood test to make sure the drugs aren't damaging your liver or kidneys, oh my goodness, all of a sudden you've got high cholesterol. Oh, and you've got high blood sugar. We caught those just in time. They've created those diseases, and then you end up on 5 prescriptions. And that's the way the system works.
prescriptions that you don't ever get off of either.
Yes.
Right.
When I was in medical school in the mid-70s, we were told, yes, the drugs are helpful, you know, short-term intervention with drugs until the body can take care of itself. I mean, even that's only, what, 35 years ago. They kind of understood, and we never assumed people would take lifelong drugs, but that's the marketing system at play right now.